Greetings, fellow internet user. Today I bring you a tale. It is very dark, very stupid, and very cringy. Today I tell the tale of my Onision phase. Also, thank you for clicking on this video. I'm very grateful to you, person who is either A, someone who came across me from that one emo video I did and then decided to look to see if I made any more, B, a Doomerwave person who just got this video and they're recommended randomly, or C, most importantly of all, one of my 23 loyal subscribers. My apologies for this being the first time I'm literally uploading anything even vaguely original. So, let us begin. Stage 1, the opening encounter. This was back in like 2010, 11, 12, somewhere around that time. At the time, I was what can simply be referred to as an idiotic, overly edgy, overly cringy 13-year-old girl, aka perfectly primed to be one of the core members of the Onion cult. I still like dark humour now, but back then it was like full-on stupid edgy stuff for the sake of edginess. Like, I watched Shane Dawson TV and I would laugh at the stupidest stuff. Jokes like, "Hey, hi, what's up? I'm black." I was just watching my regular stupid edgy stuff on YouTube and lo and behold, in the recommendations right at the sidebar, there was the destroyer, the creature, the grimy, gross man. Yeah. So I came across one of his skits. I was like,
Haha, he said the N-word. Funny, abortion.
I subscribed, and that was it. I didn't really become an avid fan straight away. I just watched some of his skits every so often. Anyway, moving on to phase 2. Here is where it gets very interesting. That's a lie, it just gets more creepy. Another piece of context required for this tale is that I was a very small bean with a squishy, stupid, tiny teenage brain, so I didn't have very many set opinions at that time. But one thing one principle that I held quite strongly was the belief in freedom of speech, i.e., I didn't like it when people got cancelled on the internet for edgy jokes that they made years ago. I still don't, to be honest. But anyway, Onision had this channel at the time. It was called something like Onision Speaks, where he just shared opinions and just was very manipulative to people. Like, if you go back and watch them, it's very clear that he's manipulating the audience. But I came across one of these videos on his opinion channel about freedom of speech, and it was like just going, "OMG, don't cancel people for old jokes," and little baby me was like,
"OMG, you're so right, Onion Man. I agree with you."
So I subscribed to that channel. I gained some respect for his opinions. I watched a couple more of his opinions videos, and then came stage 3. In my opinion, probably the most basically, I was an idiot. Stage 3, the culthood. Now, I've already mentioned this, but if you watch any of the videos on his opinions channel, it's very clearly very manipulative. He overemphasizes how much of an honest and logical YouTuber he is in practically every other sentence. Like, he goes, "Oh, I'm sharing my opinion, and you can believe me because I'm honest, not like those other fake YouTubers." And then he goes on to explain his opinions, which they were usually quite radical, but he explained them in what seemed like a logical way. And my little squishy teenage brain was just like,
"OMG, he explained them, he must be right, because..."
Okay, this still holds true today, but I especially hated back then, being told to do or think things without explanations. And I was also very used to it, because of shit like, "Oh, elbows on the table are rude, oh, pointing at people is rude." And when I asked why, they just said, "Oh, because it's rude." So to see someone actually try to give some sort of valid explanation for something they were saying was practically I was like,
whoa, this is unheard of. I can't believe it. Whoa, this guy is amazing. I have to listen to everything he says because he could never be wrong. He's so honest and blunt and logical.
I got into watching him because of his kind of anti-SJW-esque videos, but some of his opinion videos were more quote-unquote SJW-y. He had like all sorts of weird, specific opinions that were like, some of them were just innocuous, some of them were really, really, really creepy, and I don't know how I didn't figure this out at all at the time. Like, he had one video where he said that if you get raped and then you don't report it to the police, then you're just as bad as the rapist, because you're letting him rape other women. Yeah, that's the degree. And one thing that he's known for, because you've probably seen the memes that look at my vegetarian body thing. So he's well known for being a staunch vegetarian, like a militant one. One of the first things that really fully manipulated me and got to me was his vegetarian thing, because he had a bunch of videos where he said the whole meat is murder thing, but then he actually like explained it in a way that made sense to my brain. So one thing led to another, and basically I was sat at the dinner table with my family. My mum prepared a lovely nice meal of bangers and mash, put it on the table, and I was sat there eating it and just looking at the plate, and I was like eating the potatoes and eating the peas and like swirling around my plate, and then I left the sausages there and I broke into tears, and my parents were like, "Gah, why won't you eat your food, you spoiled brat?" And I was crying and I was like, I don't want to, I want to be, and they had to take me in the other room and like force me to tell them that I wanted to be a vegetarian. And this probably makes me seem like a very weak-willed person, and I was back then, and to be honest I probably still am now, but I figured it out 3 years later. But yeah, very cult-like and manipulative, and I was tricked because I was stupid. But here's another thing that's even funnier, because at the time I was doing practice stuff for my GCSEs. There's very important exams in the UK, and I was in like year 9 I think at the time, and one of the practice papers for English language, they have a section in the test for creative writing, and the question in this paper was to either write a description suggested by the picture shown in the paper, or write a description about a person who's made a strong impression of you. And little 12-year-old Elle was like,
wow, this is great. I could write about the most honest man on the internet and hail his glory to all.
And I have it here, and I'm going to read it out to you. And warning, this is very, very cringy, very, very cult-like. Let us begin. His face is stern but neutral, open to good ideas and utterly rejecting bad ones. He has short, brown hair and piercing blue-green eyes. Life for him is not so good right now, but he won't give up. He won't let the world beat him. Honesty to him is like breathing to us all. It is vital. Strong opinions carry him through it all, mixed with shock comedy. Fans will be supported, helped, and praised, but he has little tolerance for stupid, mindless hate. Like a tree, the hate seems strong, but he is not intimidated, for he is a woodcutter with the very best chainsaw there is. Endless streams of words flow from his brain to his microphone, over the world, and into the speakers, headphones, and minds of millions. Blunt honesty and facts are his sword and shield, defending him from all who disagree. Comedy and seriousness are kept separate. He deals with all the hate. He refuses to stop. Jokes are jokes, and only that. Serious opinions are always opposed, but just because people don't like what you think, doesn't mean you have to change it. Honesty is good. Without honesty, there is no trust, and without trust, you are alone. This man is not afraid to say what he believes. This man is not afraid to fight for what he believes. This man is not afraid to tell the truth. Truth. It is essential. It scares some people. They hide it away and choose to ignore it. Most of them regret that. If you won't express your opinion, what are you going to do? Who will want to know you if you are silent? His employers don't like the truth. His blunt honesty is too much for them. They're suppressing him because he doesn't always say the politically correct thing. Nothing will make him give up though. Honesty will survive. He will make it. Bittersweet. That's what describes him. The shock comedy. It's funny, and sometimes offensive. The truth. It's not always what you want to hear, but it is what you should hear. Every time I hear his voice, I think, here it comes. Any second now. That blunt, painful, beautiful honesty. Hate feels bad. To be hated feels bad. So I am in awe of how this one person is able to see that hate and keep doing what he does. Truth is strong. No matter how many people say, yes, but did you know that he? It won't matter. He will already have told us if it was true. This man has taught me something very important. It's okay to say what you think. If you're wrong, you're wrong. But if you don't say what you think, you won't know whether or not you were right. Doesn't that sound awful? Yeah, sounds like a speech about a leader of a cult from a member who's completely been indoctrinated. You see one of Charles Manson's supporters talking about him like that. Also, I referred to YouTube as quote-unquote his employers, because I was like,
the teacher's gonna disrespect me if I actually write about a YouTuber very clearly, so I have to just pretend I'm talking about, like, famous politician or something. Ew.
in the plan for it, I didn't even write the word Onision. I literally used like a little spider diagram and I wrote Greg in the middle. Anyway, after all this, I'm sure you're wondering, how did she get out of this crazy cult? Well, that brings us on to section 4, aka the deprogramming. Now what I'd like to say is that I had some painful, glorious moment of realization where I looked up to the sky as it was raining, down on my knees, tears streaming from my face, and I said, "Is this guy kind of fucked up or what?" But no, what really happened was his videos stopped getting recommended to me as much. I mostly forgot about him. I stopped watching him. I was still subscribed, but I didn't really remember him until like 2 or 3 years later. This commentary channel I liked had a bunch of old videos on him that I watched. I think it was I'm Alex or something. I don't watch him anymore, but yeah, I watched his Onision videos and I was just like, wait a minute, did I get nabbed? Did I get manipulated? Was I in a cult? The answer is yes. I went back, after seeing the critical videos on him, to watch some of the opinion videos that I'd liked, and I realised, a lot of these quote-unquote logical explanations are actually not really that logical at all, and they jump to a lot of conclusions, and oh my god, how could I have been so stupid as to take these as fact? And I was embarrassed. And I still am embarrassed. But I dug that exam paper out of my old stuff while I was looking through it because of quarantine, because I'm bored out of my mind, and I'm watching JoJo, but my internet went out, so I decided to look at some of my old stuff, and I thought, hey, that's funny, why don't I put that on the internet? And so I did. Moral of the story is, just because somebody sounds like they're being logical, doesn't mean they're actually being logical, and also teenagers are really, really, really stupid. I'm still a teenager, so yeah, that still applies to me. Anyway, if you found this funny, thanks. I might do other stuff like it. I just found that and I thought it was funny, and I was like, I've been meaning to make a YouTube video. I can do this. And then I recorded myself drawing this picture that you can see, and here we are.